The gavel slammed down like a thunderclap in the stuffy school board room. And just like that, my world cracked open. My name scrawled across the headline of the paper I'd poured my soul into, now branded a scandal. Editor Alex Rivera fired for inappropriate content. The words burned into my retinas as Principal Hargrove's voice echoed, cold and final. This isn't about free speech, Alex. It's about protecting our students from your choices. I stood there, 16 years old, heart hammering like a trapped bird, realizing in that split second that the ink I'd spilled for truth had just exiled me from the only place I ever felt like I belonged. I remember the exact moment it all unraveled. That humid September afternoon in Willow Creek, Ohio. The kind of small-town Midwest summer hangover where the air clings to your skin like regret. I'd been the editor of the Willow Creek High Chronicle for a year. Ever since sophomore year when Mrs. Delaney spotted my op-ed on the local mill shutdown and decided I had the fire of Woodward and Bernstein in my veins. It was my sanctuary, that cramped newsroom in the back of the English wing, smelling of old coffee and fresh printer ink. I'd sneak in after classes, fingers flying over the keyboard, crafting stories that peeled back the polite veneer of our town. The opioid whispers in trailer parks, the faded glory of Friday night lights under budget cuts, the quiet ache of kids like me who dreamed bigger than cornfields and county fairs. But that issue, the one that got me canned, it was supposed to be my masterpiece. Shadows in the Stands. The unseen struggles of LGBTQ plus youth in rural America. I'd interviewed 5 students anonymously, kids who'd scribbled their truths on napkins during lunch, terrified of their own shadows. One was about a boy who'd attempted suicide after his dad found his diary. Another detailed the taunts in gym class that left bruises deeper than skin. I wove it all with stats from GLSEN reports, quotes from activists in Cleveland, and a call to action for our school to start a GSA club. It was raw, urgent, American as apple pie laced with revolution. I hit print with a grin, imagining the board's nods of approval. Instead, the backlash hit like a freight train. By morning, my inbox, forwarded to the principal because, hey, school email, was a war zone. Sick agenda pusher? Ruining our Christian values. Get out of our town, fag. The last one came from an anonymous parent, but I knew the voice behind it. Mr. Harlan, the auto shop owner whose son was on the football team. By lunch, petitions circled the cafeteria, and Hargrove hauled me into his office like a criminal. Alex, this isn't journalism. It's activism. And it's divisive. His eyes flicked to the rainbow pin on my backpack, the one I'd worn defiantly since Pride Month. Divisive, like my existence was a pollster's nightmare. The board meeting that evening was a circus. I sat at the scarred oak table, flanked by empty chairs where my advisors should have been. Mrs. Delaney had called in sick, her text later reading, "I'm sorry, kiddo. Politics." Parents lobbed accusations. Indoctrinating our children. Why can't he stick to bake sales? I defended it all, voice steady at first, then cracking as the gavel fell. Fired. Suspended from all extracurriculars. The paper, placed under interim review, which meant gutted. I walked out into the parking lot, the fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets, and puked into the azaleas. Abandoned. That's what it felt like, not just the job, but the dream. Who was I without the byline? Just another queer kid in a town that tolerated you like a polite cough. Home was no refuge. Mom worked doubles at the diner, her uniform smelling of grease and exhaustion, and Dad? He'd split when I was 10, chasing some waitress to Toledo with a vague postcard apology. Be good, champ. Yeah, right. So I crashed on the sagging couch, scrolling through supportive DMs from online allies. Faceless avatars in bigger cities who got it, but it felt hollow. Willow Creek didn't do it gets better. It did it stays the same, or you leave. Monday morning, I slunk into homeroom like a ghost, avoiding eyes. The halls buzzed with whispers. Did you see what Alex wrote? Freak. I kept my head down, backpack heavy with unread textbooks until third period, creative writing with Mr. Ellis, the one class where I could breathe. That's when he caught my eye again. Jake Harlan, quarterback, class president, the golden boy with sun-bleached hair and a smile that could sell toothpaste. We'd been in school together since kindergarten, But he was always the orbit I avoided. Too straight-laced, too everything I wasn't. He sat 2 rows back, doodling in his notebook, oblivious as ever. Or so I thought. As the bell rang, he lingered by my desk, tossing his backpack down like it was casual. "Hey, Rivera." Tough break on the paper. His voice was low, that easy drawl all the jocks had. But there was something in his green eyes. Pity? Curiosity? I shrugged, mumbling, "Yeah, well, truth hurts." He leaned in, close enough I caught his scent. Fresh-cut grass and Irish spring. "Nah, man. That piece? It was ballsy. My old man's an idiot." I blinked, caught off guard. Jake Harlan. Defending me? To anyone else, it would have been nothing. A throwaway line. But in that moment, with my chest still raw, it landed like a lifeline tossed into a storm. We didn't talk much after that, not really. But over the next week, he'd nod in the halls, or slide me an extra granola bar at lunch when I forgot mine. Small things, stupid things, but they chipped at the ice around my heart. Willow Creek was thawing, or maybe just me. Little did I know, Jake was the crack that would shatter it all wide open. By Friday, the suspension lifted, Hargrove's compromise. No paper duties, but I could attend classes. I showed up to the pep rally like a prisoner on parole, the gym thumping with bass from the fight song. Banners screamed, "Go Wolverines!" And the cheer squad flipped like they were auditioning for Hollywood. I hovered at the edges, arms crossed, until Jake spotted me from the bleachers. He jogged over, jersey clinging to his frame, sweat beading on his forehead. "Come on, don't be a wallflower. Sit with us." Us? The football crew? I laughed it off. I'd rather eat the turf. But he grabbed my elbow, gentle but firm, and pulled me up the steps. It was surreal. Sandwiched between linebackers who grunted hellos, cheering as Jake led a touchdown drill on the gym floor. His throws were poetry. Spiral slicing air like a promise. And when he glanced back at me, grinning, something twisted in my gut. Not hate, not envy. Warmth. Dangerous, reckless warmth. After, as the crowd thinned, he caught up to me at the exit. "Hey, wanna grab shakes at Dairy Dream?" My treat. Debrief the rally. I hesitated. Why me? Why now? But nodded. What was one milkshake in a sea of vanilla? The diner was a relic. Red vinyl booths, jukebox crooning Springsteen. The kind of place where secrets simmered over fries. We slid into a corner booth, Jake ordering chocolate with extra whipped cream like a kid. Conversation flowed easy at first. Plays he'd botched, my epic takedown of the board. Then he got quiet, stirring his straw. "Look, Alex, that article, hit close. My cousin in Dayton, he's like you, came out last year. Family imploded." I froze, spoon midway to my mouth. Jake Harlan with a gay cousin? Worlds colliding. "Sucks," I managed. He nodded, eyes distant. "Yeah, but you, putting it out there, that's courage. More than I've got." We talked till closing. Books. He loved Vonnegut. Surprise. Dreams. He wanted USC. I eyed Columbia's J School. As we stepped into the crisp night, stars pricking the sky like hesitant confessions, he clapped my shoulder. Night editor. The word stung sweet. Driving home on my bike, wind whipping tears I didn't know I'd shed, I realized Jake wasn't just a classmate. He was the unexpected. The one who saw me really saw me when no one else bothered. But hope's a fragile thing in Willow Creek. Saturday brought the storm. Mom's shift ended early. She found me at the kitchen table, scribbling notes for an underground zine. My rebellion's next breath. "Alex, honey," the Harlans called. "Said you're influencing Jake." Her voice trembled, eyes pleading. Influencing? Like I was a virus. I slammed my notebook shut, heart sinking. "It's nothing, Mom." But it wasn't. Monday, Jake ghosted, no nods, no granola bars. In writing class, he stared through me like I was newsprint. Betrayal's first whisper. What did I do? What was I, after all, but the abandoned one? The silence stretched like Ohio winter, brittle and unforgiving. 2 weeks blurred into a haze of avoided glances and cafeteria isolation. My zine idea fizzling under the weight of doubt. I'd print a few copies on the library's ancient Xerox, staples digging into palms as I slipped them into lockers under cover of night. Unfiltered. Stories they won't print. Whispers spread. Kids reading in stalls, passing pages like contraband, but it felt like shouting into fog. Jake? He was back to his orbit. Practices, dates with cheer Captain Emily, blonde, bubbly, everything I wasn't, the king restored. I told myself it didn't matter. Buried in AP Lit, diagramming Frost's The Road Not Taken like it was prophecy. Two paths, both diverging, both lonely. Mr. Ellis pulled me aside after class one day, his tweed jacket smelling of pipe tobacco. Alex, talent like yours doesn't vanish with a pink slip. Keep writing. For you. His words were balm, but the ache lingered. Nights, I'd replay that diner booth. Jake's laugh, the way his knee brushed mine under the table. Accidental, or the spark I dared not name. Then came the Harvest Festival, Willow Creek's annual ritual of denial. Pumpkin patches masking poverty. Hayrides drowning out the mill's ghost whistles. Mom insisted I go. Get some air, Mijo. Life's not all scandals. Dressed in flannel and jeans, I wandered the fairgrounds, the air thick with cider and fried dough. Strings of bulbs glowed against the dusk, families clustering like fireflies. I bought a caramel apple, biting into its sticky lie of sweetness, when a voice cut through the fiddles. Rivera, over here. Jake, leaning against the Ferris wheel's shadow, solo for once, a red solo cup in hand. My pulse betrayed me, thudding like bass drums. Harlan, slumming it. He chuckled, but it was tight, eyes scanning the crowd. Nah, Dad's schmoozing donors. Needed a breather. Pause. You? Same. Escaping. We fell into step, the midway's chaos a buffer. Ring toss barkers, kids shrieking on the zipper. He won me a lopsided stuffed wolf at the shooting gallery, tossing it over with a wink. For the editor who howls at the moon. I clutched it, warmth creeping despite the chill. We rode the Ferris wheel in a gut-lurching ascent, the town sprawling below like a diorama of secrets. At the top, swaying gentle, he turned. Alex, about ghosting you. Dad found out we hung out. Went nuclear. No son of mine associating with that queer activist shit. His words. The car rocked, my stomach dropping harder than the view. So you bailed? Not a question. He winced, running a hand through his hair. Tried to, but it's bullshit. You're not that. You're just Alex. Smart as hell. Funny when you want to be. Funny? Me? I laughed. Bitter. Careful quarterback. Flattery might make me think you've got feelings. The words slipped, laced with the truth I'd buried. He met my gaze, the lights below painting his face in neon flickers. Vulnerable, searching. Maybe I do. Time fractured. His hand found mine in the gondola's dim, fingers tentative. Then sure. Warm. Real. The wheel descended, but we lingered, breaths sinking to the creak of metal. Down on solid ground, he pulled me behind the hay bales, away from prying eyes. Our first kiss was clumsy. Teeth clacking, noses bumping, but electric, tasting of cider and courage. Jake Harlan, kissing me back, like I was the only story worth printing. We stole moments after that, fragile as frost. Mornings in his truck before school, parked at the quarry's edge, hands exploring boundaries we named later. Not sex, just touch. Palms on cheeks, foreheads pressed, whispers of this is us. Afternoons in the old barn behind my place. Mom at work, where we'd read aloud. Me Vonnegut passages, him Kerouac dreams of highways west. He confessed fragments. Confusion since freshman year, stolen glances in locker rooms, his cousin's letters a lifeline. I like girls, Alex. But you're different. You see me, not the jersey. I fell hard, rewriting my narrative around him. The zine? It grew, Jake sneaking articles on the pressure of perfection under a pseudonym. We dreamed escape. Prom as friends, plausible deniability, graduation to state universities, summers in Provincetown. Romantic, reckless, so various, but Willow Creek's underbelly churned. Emily cornered me in the girls' bathroom, Yes, bathroom. Hissing, stay away from Jake. He's mine. I laughed it off, but her eyes held venom. Rumors swirled. Rivera's turning the team gay. Dad's old garage buddy, now a cop, eyed me funny at the gas station. The crack widened mid-October, homecoming week. Jake's dad hosted the bonfire after-party at their sprawling farm. White pillars, fields rolling to nowhere. I wasn't invited, officially, but Jake slipped me a note. Backfield midnight. Bring the wolf. I did, hard a drum solo sneaking past trucks and tailgates. The fire roared central, faces flushed with beer and bravado. But our spot was quiet, blanket under stars, his head on my lap as I traced constellations. Orion's belt, I murmured, holds the hunter together. He smiled up soft, like you hold me. Then headlights pierced the dark, tires crunching gravel. Jake, get your ass in here. Mr. Harlan's bellow, slurred with whiskey. Jake bolted up, face paling. Shit, stay down. He vanished into the glow, voices rising. Who's that faggot editor sniffing around? I told you. A scuffle. Then Jake's shout. Leave it, Dad. I crouched. Wolf clutched like a talisman, pulse roaring. Minutes stretched eternal. Then Jake reappeared, lips split, eye swelling. He knows. Saw us at the festival. Thinks you're poisoning me. Poison. The word lodged like bone. We drove to the quarry in silence, his truck's cab a confessional. I'm sorry, he choked, knuckles white on the wheel. He's sending me to military camp after graduation. Straighten me out. Straighten. The irony burned. I touched his cheek, thumb smearing blood. Fight it. With me. He nodded, fierce, pulling me close. That night, under quarry moonlight, we promised forever. Vows whispered like articles and signed, but promises paper thin. Monday, the zine dropped its biggest issue, Breaking the Huddle, Athlete Mental Health in Small-Town Sports. Jake's piece, anonymized, detailed the suicides, the steroids, the closet crushes. It exploded, reposted on Reddit, picked up by a Columbus blogger. Pride swelled, then shattered. The byline leak. Somehow, traced to Jake's IP via school Wi-Fi. By lunch, the team iced him, jerseys swapped, lockers keyed. Harlan Sr. stormed the office, demanding my expulsion. This is libel. Seduction. Hargrove called an emergency assembly. Gym packed, air electric with schadenfreude. Jake and I summoned to the stage, spotlit like felons. These materials are disruptive, Hargrove droned, holding the zine like toxic waste. Parents jeered. Then Jake stepped forward, voice steady despite the bruise. It's not Alex's fault. It's mine. I wrote it. Because it's true. Gasps rippled. His dad surged from the bleachers, face thunder. You little. Chaos erupted. Fists flew. Mr. Harlan lunging, coaches pulling him back. Jake shoved me behind him, protective, then crumpled as his father's elbow connected. Blood on the polished floor. I screamed his name, the wolf forgotten in my bag. Security swarmed. Assembly dissolved into shouts. In the nurse's office, stitching his brow, Jake gripped my hand. Worth it, he whispered. For us. But us? Fracturing. That night, his truck idled outside my window at 2 a.m. Dad's kicking me out. Couch surfing till graduation. I snuck down. Mom snores a distant lullaby. We sat on the porch swing, creaking confessions. I love you, Alex. Not like a friend. For real. The words hung, luminous. I kissed him slow, tears salting our lips. Love. In Willow Creek, it was revolution. Yet dawn brought the ultimatum. Harlan Sr., via cop buddy, warned Mom. Keep your boy away, or we press charges for corruption of a minor. Corruption. Me, the minor. Mom wept over coffee, begging. Just wait till college. Wait for what erasure? Jake texted. Can't see you. Too risky. But I mean it. Always. The betrayal bloomed slow. A poison ivy creep. November elections. Jake ran unopposed for prez, but whispers tanked his votes. Emily won, her smile a dagger. He withdrew. citing family issues. I poured it into the zine Issues on Resilience on Chosen Family. Circulation hit 200, kids thanking me in halls. But Jake faded. Glimpses in class, hollow-eyed, dodging my notes. Thanksgiving break sealed it. I biked to his farm, desperate, finding the gate chained. A note pinned, "Gone to uncle's in Dayton. Don't follow. Safer this way." Jay safer for who? The wolf stared from my shelf, accusing. Abandoned again, not by the paper but by him. The boy who'd seen me. December draped Willow Creek in gray flannel. Bare branches clawing skies. Holiday lights flickering like false promises. Mom strung tinsel half-heartedly, humming carols off-key. But the house felt hollow, echoing with Jake's absence. His texts trickled. "Miss you. Hanging in there." Then silence, a void wider than the Ohio River. I threw myself into finals, acing essays on Gatsby's green light. Irony thick as fog, chasing illusions across wet lawns. The zine became my pulse. Issue on winter isolation. Anonymous pleas from queer kids nationwide. Forwarded via a new Tumblr I started. It went viralish, 5K shares. A shout-out from a Chicago activist. Validation, bittersweet. Christmas Eve. Snow finally dusted the fields, turning the world soft. I wandered to the quarry, boots crunching crust. The wolf tucked in my coat like a heart transplant. Sat on our rock, tracing initials in frost. A+J. Forever? Lies we tell ourselves. My phone buzzed, unknown number. Alex? It's Mia. Jake's cousin. Dayton accent warm as hearth fire. She'd read the zine, reached out months back. He's here. Rough shape. Wants to talk, but scared. Scared. Of me? I drove Mom's old Civic, borrowed with a fib about group study. 3 hours east, wipers slapping sleet. Dayton sprawled gritty glam. Factories yielding to breweries. Neon signs buzzing welcome. Mia met me at a dive bar off I-75. Her undercut and leather jacket screaming ally. He's crashing on my couch. Uncle's a dick. Echoes of Harlan Sr. We hugged quick, conspiratorial. Upstairs, the apartment smelled of ramen and regret. Posters of Frida Kahlo, a menorah half-lit. Jake opened the door, thinner, shadows under eyes like bruised plums. Alex. One word, cracked. I stepped in, door clicking shut like fate's latch. We stood awkward, air thick. Then he pulled me into a hug, bone-tight, trembling. God. I thought I'd lost you. Lost me? He was the ghost. We sank to the couch, Mia vanishing tactfully to grab smokes. Words tumbled. His dad's rage, the camp threats, nights staring at ceilings plotting escape. I bailed because I love you too much to drag you under. Noble. Infuriating. I shoved the wolf at him. Matted fur, button eyes judgmental. You left this. And me. He clutched it, laughing wet. My guardian. Then serious. Write about it. Our story. Make it count. We talked till dawn. Mia crashing in later with pizza. 3 of us scheming. Jake transferring to online school, me applying for early college programs. A future, sketched in grease stains. That night, he slept beside me on the lumpy futon. Hand in mine, breath sinking. No more, just presence. Love, unadorned. Back in Willow Creek, the thaw was tentative. Mom met Mia over FaceTime, thawing herself. Bring him for New Year's, if he wants. The zine evolved, now echoes. Collaborative, Jake ghostwriting from Dayton. But conflict brewed. January brought the school board review. My appeal for reinstatement. Hargrove's office. Fluorescent hell. Evidence of collusion with Harlan Boy. Disruptive. Collusion. Like love was conspiracy. I laid it bare, speeches memorized from TED Talks. Stats on queer youth suicide rates plummeting with visibility. Parents shifted uneasy. One mom, teary, admitted her son read the zine in secret. The vote, 4-3, reinstated. Cheers in the hall, kids high-fiving, even a tentative nod from Emily. But victory soured quick. Anonymous email to the Chronicle staff. Screenshots of Jake's and my texts, blurred but damning. Queer love letters. Editor's secret affair. Leaked. By who? Harlan Sr.'s cop pal? Or closer? A teammate bitter over Jake's exit? The paper hit stands that week, my byline on a puff piece about snow days. But the whispers were daggers. Slut. Predator. Jake called voice steal. Ignore it. We're stronger. But I wasn't. Nights I'd scroll old photos. Us at the festival, Ferris will blur, tears hot. Humanistic? This was carnage. February Valentine's, he mailed a package. Mixtape, The Nationals About Today, Hearttrenchers, a locket with our initials. Note, my road not taken leads to you. I wore it under my shirt, talisman against the cold. Spring stirred rebellion. Prom loomed, Willow Creek's prom court a popularity pageant. Jake, via proxy, nominated me for Most Likely to Change the World. Right in surge from zine fans. I declined, but the gesture burned bright. Then the call, Mia, frantic. Jake's dad showed up, dragged him back. Says he'll emancipate him legally if he doesn't fix this phase. Like love was adolescence's awkward zit. I drove again, reckless, sleet turning to rain. The Harlan farm loomed like a gothic novel, white clabbered, field sodden. Gate unchained. I slipped through, boots mud-sucking. Voices from the barn. Harlan Sr., bellowing scripture. Jake, defiant. I'm gay, Dad. Or by, whatever, it's me. A slap echoed, crack like lightning. I burst in, flashlight beam cutting dark. Let him go. Time slowed. Mr. Harlan whirled. Face apoplectic. You. This is your doing. Jake, cheek blooming red, lunged between us. Alex, run. But I didn't. Words poured. He's your son, not a project. Love him, or lose him. Harlan's fist cocked. Jake blocked, taking the blow to his ribs. Grunts, shoves, me grabbing a pitchfork handle for leverage, not swinging, just standing ground. Sirens wailed distant, neighbor called 911. Cops arrived. Harlan cuffed for assault. Technically, on property damage, fork in hay. Jake collapsed against me, sobbing. It's over. Over? The facade, yes. Mia arrived, lawyer uncle in tow, emancipation papers drafted. We three huddled in the kitchen, herbal tea steaming, as dawn broke. We'll fight, Mia said. Family's what we make. But betrayal's shadow lingered. Back home, the leak's source surfaced. Emily. Confession via tearful DM. I saw your texts on his phone. Jealous. Thought it'd push him back to me. Petty, profound hurt. I forgave. Not for her, but for me, humanity's messy grace. Jake moved to Dayton, permanent, school transferred. We visited weekends, building normal. Movies in art house theaters, brunches with mimosas. Virgin, we're teens. Climax brewed in May, graduation eve. Willow Creek High under stadium lights, caps like blackbirds. I walked, diploma crisp, zine folded in pocket. Final issue dedicated to Jake. The unexpected byline. He stood in the shadows, suit borrowed, grin wide. As names echoed. Alexander Rivera. I searched the crowd. Mom hooped. Mia waved from afar. Then, unscripted, Jake stepped into light. Mike grabbed from the podium tech. Wait, one more speech. Gasped. Hargrove blanched. Jake, voice carrying. This class? We've got dreamers. Like Alex Rivera, who taught us truth over comfort. I love him. That's my truth. Silence, then applause, scattered, growing, thunderous. Harlan Sr. absent. But whispers said he'd written Jake a letter. I'm trying, son. Trying. A start. We kissed on the field under fireworks, brief, bold. Cheers mixed with jeers, but louder the former. Human, flawed America. Summer unfurled like a tentative truce. Ohio heat waving mirages of freedom. Jake bunked with Mia, working shifts at a campus bookstore. Stocking Kerouac beside comics, sneaking reads on breaks. I waitressed at the diner with Mom, tips jingling like loose change dreams, saving for NYU's summer program. Weekends, we'd meet halfway. A truck stop off 70, burgers and bad coffee, plotting futures. You'll edit the Village Voice, he'd tease. I'll quarterback for the Mets. Wait, wrong sport. Laughter easy now, laced with the scars we wore like badges. But conflict simmered, old wounds festering. July 4th. Willow Creek's fireworks over the river. Red, white, blue booms masking the ache. Jake came home for it, emancipation sealed. A quiet victory. The town tiptoed. Nods at the grocery, but stares lingered. Harlan Sr. waited on the porch, gaunt in the dusk, hands fidgeting like in used tools. Son. One word, bridge or bomb. Jake stiffened beside me, my hand in his pocket for anchor. Dad. They talked, halting, Harlan admitting AA meetings, therapy prompted by the assault charge plea deal. I was wrong, scared, of losing you to this world. This world. Us queer and unapologetic. Jake's voice cracked. You almost did, but Alex, he saved me. Harlan's eyes flicked to me, softening fraction. Thank you, boy. Boy, not faggot. Progress, glacial. We watched the show from the dock. Fingers laced, sparks reflecting in the water like scattered truths. Later, in Jake's old room, posters faded, bed creaking. We lay awake, bodies close but chaste, hearts sinking stories. Betrayal hurts, he murmured. But forgiveness? That's the plot twist. I traced his ribs, faint bruise ghosts. Emily's leak? Your dad's fists? Yeah. But we're the heroes. August brought the storm, literal, hurricane remnants drenching the Midwest. Power out, roads flooded, but we drove anyway. Me to Dayton for a goodbye before NYU orientation. His uncle hosted a send-off barbecue, rain pattering tents like Morse code. Mia grilled veggie skewers, toasting. To roads taken, lovers unbroken. Jake pulled me aside, under the eaves, rain sheeting backdrop. I got into USC. Early decision. Elation, then gut punch. LA? That's far, far. 3,000 miles of highways, time zones taunting. We clung, kisses desperate, salt and storm. Flights, he promised. Holidays, summers in the heartland. But doubt crept, insidious. Would distance dilute us? Willow Creek's pull, his dad's fragile thaw, would he regress? My zine, now national via Substack, demanded New York hustle. Conflicting orbits. NYU hit like culture shock. Subways rumbling secrets, skyscrapers dwarfing dreams. Dorms buzzed with accents. Brooklyn poets, Jersey coders. A kid from San Fran with pronouns pinned. I dove in, J-school seminars dissecting all the president's men. Late nights pounding out from cornfields to concrete. A queer journalist's odyssey. Jake's calls anchored. Miss your voice. Tell me about the weirdos. Laughter bridged the gap, but static crept. His voice tinny, silences lengthening. Fall deepened. Leaves turning in Central Park like unsent letters. Homecoming for Willow Creek virtual pep rally. Me zooming in from a cafe. Jake, back for it, face pixelated but proud. Starting quarterback for USC freshman. We crushed Bama. But his stories shifted. Parties with co-eds, bros slapping backs. Nothing serious, he'd assure. I nodded, locket warm against skin, but jealousy gnawed, green-eyed irrational. Thanksgiving, I flew west, budget ticket burning savings. LAX sprawl swallowed me. Palms mocking Midwest maples. Jake met me at arrivals, taller somehow, jersey swapped for Henley. Hug bone-crushing. God, Alex. His apartment off campus. Posters of Trojan helmets, bookshelves crammed Vonnegut beside playbooks. We walked Venice Beach at dawn, waves crashing confessions. Dad called, wants to visit, says he's proud. Proud. Miracles multiply, but cracks spiderwebbed. Dinner with his teammates, easy charm, but their eyes lingered on me. The boyfriend, exotic import. One, Brock, linebacker with a drawl. Clapped Jake's back. Dude, you went full rainbow? Laughs. But Jake tensed, squeezing my knee under the table. Later, alone, he paced. They're idiots. But, pressure. Scouts watching. Pressure. The huddle's ghost. December holidays. Split duties. Me to Ohio first. Mom's tamales, Harlan Sr. at the table, awkward but present, carving turkey with steady hands. How's the big city? Gruff but genuine. Loud. Honest. He nodded. Good. Jake arrived Christmas Eve, snow dusting his beanie. We exchanged gifts under tree lights. Me. A leather journal inscribed our byline. Him. Tickets to a Knicks game. Harlan watched us, quiet, acceptance's first draft. New Year's in Dayton with Mia's crew, queer potluck, rainbow banner sagging. Fireworks boomed. Jake pulling me to the balcony. This year? Us? Unbreakable. Kiss under midnight, city glittering below. But January whispered warnings. USC intensified. Jake's calls sporadic, texts emoji heavy. Practice killed me. Love you. Love you. Casual now? The betrayal struck Valentine's, ironic arrow. A package arrived at my dorm. Manila envelope, no return. Inside photos. Us at the quarry, blurred but unmistakable. Diner booth, his hand on mine. Time-stamped last summer. Then text screenshots Jake to Brock. Alex is intense. Cute, but it gifts me. My stomach plummeted. Intense? Not me? Confrontation brewed over FaceTime, his face pixel guilt. Brock hacked my phone. Last year when I was freaking. It's old, Alex. Old. But words linger like graffiti. You doubted us. Tears hot on cheeks. He begged. Fly out. Please. I did red-eye, heart leaden. LAX again, but reunion strained. Airport hug stiff, cab silent. His apartment tension thick as smog. I was scared, he admitted, pacing. Dad's shadow, team pressure. Thought maybe it was a phase. Phase. The word Harlan Sr. uttered. Betrayal's echo. I shoved the photos at him. This? Your leak. He paled. No. Brock. Jealous, I benched him. Brock. The drawl resurfaced, venomous. Climax crested that night. Storm raging LA canyons. Thunder mocking Midwest memories. We argued. Voices rising, hurts hurled. You left me first in Willow Creek. You idealized us. Zines and dreams. But real life scouts and Sundays. Real life. The humanistic gut punch. Love's not plot armor. I grabbed my bag. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm the phase. He blocked the door, eyes wild. Don't. I love you. The boy who wrote truths, who held me when Dad broke. Rain lashed windows, we collapsed, sobbing. Confessions cascaded. His therapy sessions, unpacking biphobia. My imposter syndrome, city swallowing small town me. We're human, he whispered. Messy. Worth it. Dawn broke clear, canyon steaming. We walked Runyon, dogs bounding, city waking. Fight for this, I said. He nodded. Fierce. Called Brock. You're off the team. And stay away. Emancipation 2.0. Spring bloom tentative. I visited more, balancing syllabi with sunsets. Zine thrived feature on long-distance loves. Queer survival guide. Jake's byline. Quarterback's closet play. Graduation season doubled. Mine in May. Cap toss under Gotham spires. His in June, Trojan roar stadium shaking. I flew cross-country. Suit rumpled. Locket gleaming. Front row. Beside Mia and a Harlan Sr. transformed. Polo tucked. Eyes misty as Jake crossed the stage. Summa cum laude, announcer boomed. Harlan clapped, then turned to me. You did good, Alex. Buy him. Buy him. Partnership acknowledged. After party. Beach bonfire, waves hissing secrets. Jake and I slipped away, toes in surf, metals clinking. What's next? Coast-to-coast commitments, me interning at the Nation, him training camp invites. We, he said. Weekends. Off-season escapes. Practical romance. We vowed again. Not forever's fairy tale, but today's truth. Calls at dawn. Visits budgeted. Love lettered in margins. Summer anchored us. Road trip east, his truck groaning interstates. Stops at diners echoing our first. Milwaukee brats. Nashville blues. In D.C., Smithsonian steps, we debated exhibits. This quilt? Like our patches. Stitched from scraps. Queer history wing, hands brushing artifacts. Intimate, infinite. Fall-settled routines. My Village Voice cubicle, fact-checking firebrands. His NFL combine whispers, dawn runs in Griffith Park. Distance-tested, holidays halved, jealousy jabs when tabloids linked him to starlets. PR stunts, he swore. But trust rebuilt, brick by vulnerable brick. Therapy tandem, virtual sessions, unpacking Willow Creek's ghosts. My abandonment complex, his performance armor. Winter solstice, shortest day, we met in Chicago, neutral ground, Windy City bite. Millennium Park, bean reflecting distorted us. Quarterback and editor, entwined. Ice skating, wobbles to laughter. Hotel room, city lights winking. Talks deep into night. Betrayals shaped us, I said. Your dad's, Emily's, even our doubts. He nodded, finger tracing my jaw. But look, humanistic ending. Not perfect, but ours. Spring 2027. My first byline, cover story on rural queer activism. Jake profiled anonymously, the jock who journaled. His read, tears over FaceTime. Proud. June, draft night, ESPN glow, suit sharp. We watched from a bar, Mia toasting, Harlan remote clapping from Ohio. Pick 47, Rams, LA bound. Home, he grinned. I joined postseason, sublet crashing his condo. Years layered. His rookie year, sacks and scrambles. My climbs, Pulitzer whispers. Willow Creek visits evolved, Hargrove retired, a GSA named after my zine. Harlan Sr. at games, rainbow pin tentative on his lapel. Mom danced at our commitment picnic. Backyard affair, friends from coasts colliding, vows exchanged under oaks. To unexpected bylines, abandoned no more. Not marriage yet, labels loose, love lead. We built. Therapy, travels, Provincetown summers, hand in hand, a dog named Wolf. Conflicts came, his injury slump, my burnout blur, but we wrote through, joint pieces on athlete mental health vulnerabilities playbook. One October Eve, years on, we revisited the quarry, fields gold, air crisp as first kisses. Sat on our rock, initials weathered but there. Fell for you, he murmured. Never expected. I leaned in, sunset painting us warm. Me neither. But damn, what a story. Humanistic, yes. No tidy bows, just threads woven. Betrayals mended. Loves deepened, truths told. In America's vast quilt, we were one patch. Flawed, fierce, forever drafting.